I've got the I've got that starting soon screen up, so it's good to go. All right. We're live, gentlemen. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome anymore.
Banana bread.
Banana bread.
Okay.
Banana bread.
Banana
What?
bread.
Okay.
Banana grey. Grey potato.
All right, welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Take it away, Yellow.
No. Welcome, everybody. This is another test stream of the Meme Factory. It does not exist. And today we have, we're very, very glad that we have one of us, Gigi, with us. And we're going to talk very serious Bitcoin stuff, like the serious stuff that you expect from us. So first thing I think I'm going to do is, because everybody knows that we're doing a stream this hour, but Walton decides and go open a space. British fuck. So I'm gonna enter that space. Oh, he even titled it with banana bread. This is the sound from the Walton space. I'm gonna ask the mic. Give me the mic.
Hey, I want to give out some more statistics.
No, wait. Oh, I have the mic.
Permission to speak. Banana bread.
Walton. I'm calling you. I'm calling you live from the stream. And go fuck yourself.
Yellow. How nice is it to know about banana bread before people,
It's time for the rec pool.
Yeah, get rid
I
of
think
it.
that was enough.
More than enough. All right, so I want to welcome everybody into the stream tonight. That was fun, Yellow. Thank you. I want to make sure that we all are paid for this evening's content, though. So I need to make sure that our guest reads the ad copy that's been sent over to us. Otherwise, we cannot continue the stream. So, Gigi, please help us get paid here.
All right. This episode of the Meme Factory podcast is brought to you by SpanHatch, makers of the only performance spandex bodysuit suitable for Bitcoiners. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a 5-hour rip with Jordan Peterson and John Wallis only to feel a rumble in your bumble? Do you need to launch a torpedo? Plant some corn? Well, it is no good to have to get out of all of your OPSEC gear just to bake a loaf of banana bread. Now, with the SpanHatch performance OPSEC suit, you don't have to. With our patented SpanHatch S-Hatch technology, you can chop a log and get right back to your pod 80% faster than with our competitor suit. The SpanHatch Performance OPSEC suit is the only real choice when it comes to podcasting and maintaining your OPSEC. Buy one today for 10% off with the discount code PAYDIRT. That's PAYDIRT. And you can sign up for updates and email alerts for availability on our next suit with our patented Dick Door technology. SpanHatch works for you.
Beautiful. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We can keep the stream going.
One more paycheck we're gonna get. Yes. Who is that?
It's Sweet Toshi.
Sweet Toshi.
Sweet Toshi, how are you doing, man?
You finally off break?
What the fuck? For real?
What?
Somebody's definitely fucking with
Somebody's
us.
fucking with us. But,
Ain't no way that Sweet Toshi.
No, it's I
need
think
to- Share for us?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It is with Ozzy, but I think I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Hear him?
No, he's not
Hear
talking.
me.
And we have an hour with Gigi here, guys. I'm happy to see Sweden, but let's get going.
Okay. We have questions. Okay, go.
I want to start with Big Sean. I know he had some questions for Gigi, and I want to let him rip.
Okay, dang, coming off hot. What up, Gigi, man? How's it going? It's great to not see you after seeing you in Miami. My first question is, what is your favorite food and why is it Wiener Schnitzel?
Wiener Schnitzel is actually great. So there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Like it has bread and all of it. So
I know I've had authentic Austrian Wiener Schnitzel. It's great.
Yeah.
Massive.
No, we have some good food here. Like not gonna lie, it's probably not everything is suited for the Bitcoin carnivores. You know, like we have basically full meals made out of sugar.
The chocolate.
Yeah. But Austrian cuisine is something to behold.
Yes, the chocolate in Austria and the Wiener Schnitzel, that alone will get anyone to go to Austria.
Can highly recommend. Yeah.
Okay, on a more serious note, we're gonna just totally flip the conversation around right now. You definitely seem to be one of the people who are one of the philosophers, I guess you could say, and maybe you don't like that term. I'm not really sure, and I don't even care. But you know, it seems to me like that Bitcoin has kind of already taken over. It's just that the rest of the world hasn't noticed it yet. My question for you is, what are you looking forward to the most in a hyper Bitcoinized world, or what does hyper Bitcoinization kind of look like to you?
Yeah, both are good questions. I obviously thought about what hyper Bitcoinization is a lot in terms of how you could define it. I would say we have reached hyper Bitcoinization once Bitcoin is the dominant money in the world. But I'm not sure if there will be one hyper Bitcoinization event. I think there will be some like fiat collapse events, you know, like if some currencies go to shit, some like whole countries might switch to Bitcoin. But I think the dollar still has quite a few years in it, and I think it will just happen like it's happening currently, you know, like person by person, company by company, and country by country, and people will switch gradually because you have to make a personal decision to save in sats and then earn sats and also spend sats and so on and use it as your money. So I think it will take a while. What I'm most looking forward to is fewer people stuck in bullshit jobs, because I think most people are wasting away their lives and are just, you know, doing whatever soul draining thing they have to do, and they're stuck in the hamster wheel, and the hamster wheel is accelerating. So I think returning to a sound money standard will free people in the sense that they will have an easier time just, you know, doing what they are good at and saving money basically, and taking care of themselves and their family.
Yeah, it's interesting because you, like, one of the biggest things that you know, whether you're socialist or capitalist or whatever, one of the biggest things that you hear socialists say when they want like a socialist government, right, is they say, oh, like you can do art if you want to do art, like everything will be paid for. You can make the music you want to make, you know, and that's perfectly fine. But I just don't see, like, in a socialist world how that can like someone has to do the work, and I really like with Bitcoin how that it is that renaissance, and it can bring people that they can do things that actually matter to them. And I think that's what socialists are getting to the point of, is people want to, you know, they'll do what they want to do and not what they feel like they have to do just to pay off a mortgage or to pay off a car payment and things like that. So I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most too, is people are going to feel, I think more people are going to feel purpose in their life, you know, when hyper Bitcoinization comes around.
I think you can already, like, looking back in history, you see that when we were on the gold standard, you know, it was perfectly reasonable to be a shoemaker, for example, and be a very good shoemaker, and be the son of a shoemaker and just run a multi-generational business that is really good at making shoes, and you were like well off, and today you have to be a shoemaker and like an investment expert, like you have to know how to invest and where to store your money, and have to know about all the kinds of ways to outpace inflation, basically. And that's what people are doing. Like people are not saving in the conventional sense. They are going to the stock market and other things to try to beat those damn like 2 to 4%, which are of course the official numbers. I think it looks more grim in the real world. Like the unofficial numbers look way more grim. But yeah, I think I think it will free people up in a sense. And of course, if you're riding the wave of hyperbitcoinization, if you're early enough to profit from the monetization process that we're currently in, which is by definition exponential, because it's like money is an exponential network technology, then you will benefit more times over. And like, I think a lot of Bitcoiners, we see this currently, they are being freed up. They like people quitting the job and choosing to write or do art, or like just do philosophy and talk all day. I mean, just that's what some Bitcoiners do. Some purely shit post on Twitter, others create memes. I mean, that's the reality we're living in right now.
Yeah, I have a brother who's not a Bitcoiner, and he always says to me, there's a J. Cole line, and some people make millions, some people make memes. And he always hate on me. And I'm like, I'm about to be making memes and millions once this number moons. So
why not both?
Wait, your brother is quoting a Jake Paul quote?
No. J. Cole, the rapper, not
okay.
Paul.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
You got something against Jake Paul, Yellow?
No.
All right. I know we were talking about Bitcoin being an exponential network technology, and facilitates communicating price signals. But I know communication is big when you want to talk about Bitcoin, and I know Labra sometimes has trouble communicating in a human way. So, but I know he's got some questions for you this evening. So I'm not sure if they're gonna bark out, or if we're just gonna hear it.
That's the question that I have.
You're a very good boy. Everyone always tells you to come back in. I would say, just go out and do your thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a question for you, Gigi, like a really good question, but I spent my time on Twitter today, like barking out and having trouble.
Yeah. You were mixing it up with the women out there.
2 days now you're chasing around Pom, man, trying to buy you. You do know that Twitter like is visible to others, right? We can see you, Labra.
That was not a DM, Labra.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Every time.
Really?
Every month.
Mike, do you have a question, man? Mike?
Was that for me?
Yeah,
man. Hey, Gigi.
Hey, what's up?
I know you've been out on the razzle dazzle tonight, right? So I appreciate the fact that you've body suited up with a belly full of booze, mate. Let us know if you have any difficult moments there. I've got I got to speak to Seed Mint a few weeks ago, who you may have met at 21.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't know this about you. Forgive me. I don't speak any German, so I don't tune into any German Bitcoin podcasts, surprisingly enough. But is that something you started? You still co-host it? Tell us about what you've been doing on the side of the Bitcoin world, whose language we don't speak.
Please answer him in German.
Oh shit.
Kaizen.
Okay, also vor ungefähr 2 Jahren oder so habe ich mit Markus zusammen in 21 den Podcast gestartet. Und,
Wirklich?
ja, das ist alles ziemlich explodiert. Also das
Cool.
ist inzwischen eine ziemlich große deutsche Bitcoin-Community und inzwischen kann ich mich, glaube ich,
You
zurückziehen.
get your
weil-
money in the end of the year.
Ausgezeichnet. All right, Greg, can you just translate that for us, please?
All right, I'll do it live. I'll translate to English. So yeah,
No, Greg says he can speak German, so let's let Greg translate it.
He said he, 2 years ago, you helped him set up the podcast, 21?
yeah, pretty good. He actually can't speak German. Yeah, so I think it was about 2 years ago, or not even. Like I got kind of sucked into this. There was another German podcast where I appeared as a guest, and out of that evolved 21, which I co-founded, so to speak. So I started this with Marcus, which is one of the 5 co-hosts that is still on board, and we basically. Our concept was to do basically what Rabbit Hole Recap is doing, but just in German. Just talk about what has happened this week, and it kind of completely exploded and grew out of proportion because we realized we wanted to be very consistent, like not missing 1 week, and this was really hard because we both have full-time jobs and families and so on. So it was really hard to just get prepared and be as consistent as we wanted to. So we brought other people on board, and this was the best decision ever. Like my main goal from the very beginning was to kind of decentralize myself so that I can step away, and this is just its own thing with its own community. And I would say, like now 1.5, 2 years later or so, this is a complete success. Like the German speaking, I have to say German speaking because it's Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein, South Tyrol. So there's a bunch of places where German is the native language, and it's I think now 1,500 people in the Telegram chat, which is completely Bitcoin only. Like the whole podcast and the whole scene, all of it is completely shitcoin free. And this wasn't the case before we started. Like there was in Switzerland, there was this crypto valley, so everything was super shitcoin laden, and we tried to kind of because no one else did it, we just tried to start something that really just focuses on Bitcoin and tries also to explain why. And so it grew in the sense that we have different kind of formats now, and we also do interviews. We also interview Bitcoiners, which is really cool. That which is called Der Weg, which you could translate to the way, in the sense the way you entered Bitcoin, or like your path into Bitcoin. And they explain how they got sucked into the rabbit hole. And it's really interesting to hear all these stories because they come from, like, Bitcoiners truly have all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of nationalities and all kinds of histories, and it's always super refreshing to hear these kind of stories. And some people are super new, like they discovered Bitcoin like 6 months ago or 8 months ago, but because the educational material is freely available and so good, a lot of people really are able to get it quickly and skip the shitcoin phase, for example, which I think most Bitcoiners of previous years had to suffer through. Like you had to suffer through your 6 months to, I don't know, like 2 years of shitcoining until you until all the hurt made you realize that this was a huge mistake.
Yep.
So we can say the most impactful thing coming for Germany and the world coming out from Austria is Gigi.
No,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I just hired the right people. I think I missed out on the last probably 8 episodes or so. So I'm very, very close to stepping away completely.
Nice.
And just being at the end of this project for myself, because
Correct.
Kind of like micro Chad.
Greg, you did like how I phrased that, right?
Yeah, it's great phrasing. Yeah.
I missed the phrasing. It went right over my head, man.
No problem. No
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you.
I also think RD has a
Well, I think
question.
if he wants to go, it's fine. I think he wanted to wait till the end, though.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to cap it off.
I'll wait till the end.
All right,
Can't
so
mute himself.
all right, so I've got a question. I know you've been recently talking about where Bitcoin lives, and that not only is there a mechanical layer, but there's a software layer and a social layer. And I was hoping you could riff on that a little bit for us, because that's cool conceptually.
Yeah, I think it's that's very difficult to kind of pin down. I mean, Bitcoin is it's kind of very simple in a sense. Like once you understood it, it is super simple. Like it's almost like a thermostat, you know. Like once you understand how it works, it's very easy to realize what's going on and how it works. But it's also very hard to wrap your head around and like you know what Bitcoin is and what it represents and what it should be. And that's I think a question we will have to answer for ourselves for, you know, probably like the next 20, 30, 50 years, whatever. Like I don't think Bitcoin, I don't think Bitcoin will ossify that quickly. So by just running your own node, you have to decide what Bitcoin is for yourself. So we have to also, by developing on Bitcoin, we have to kind of agree, or some people have to figure out what they want Bitcoin to be. You know, like it's this weird metaphysical thing that can't be grasped really. I mean, a lot of things are like that. The internet is like that as well. You know, it's very hard to tell in what direction the internet develops and what will be the next big thing. You know, like before smartphones, the internet was a very different thing, and now it's something else. You could also say like before TikTok or what have you, the internet was a different thing. Before COVID, the internet was a different thing. You know, it always kind of evolves in weird ways, and I think for Bitcoin this will be true as well. And because, for example, now, you know, everyone realizes Lightning works, and now Bitcoin again is a very different thing than it was, you know, like 3 years ago. And I expect this to happen continuously. But anyway, similarly, it's difficult to pin down, like, what do you mean when you say Bitcoin? You know, it's like, I own Bitcoin. That's a different Bitcoin than I'm running Bitcoin. And that's a different Bitcoin than, you know, Bitcoin went up. And that's a different Bitcoin than the Bitcoin network. And that's a different Bitcoin than Bitcoin Core, a Bitcoin developer. You know, you have the software, you have the code, you have the binaries that you're running, you have the network itself, you have the miners and the hash rate, and all of it is kind of connected and related. But there is a reason why we are currently switching to different words. You know, like there's, for example, LNP BP is a phrase used by protocol developers that are working on higher layers to have a nod to TCP/IP and really drive home the point that what we are interested in is Bitcoin, the protocol. So it's Lightning protocol and Bitcoin protocol, you know. And as LNP is Lightning Network Protocol and BP is Bitcoin protocol. And so there are people that are working exclusively on the protocol layer, and there's people that are working exclusively on mining, and there's people that are working exclusively, you know, on wallets, and so on and so forth. And of course, people are working exclusively on Lightning. So it's and all of it is called Bitcoin still, you know. I mean, we're still trying to figure this out. That's why I'm a huge fan of switching to sats, you know, sats the standard, because if you stop calling the unit and the currency Bitcoin, then everything is less confusing immediately. You know, like it's the Bitcoin network, and you transact sats, you transact satoshis on the Bitcoin network, and you have sats, and you stack sats, and you earn sats, and you spend sats, and you do it with Bitcoin, you do it on Bitcoin, kind of, you know. And I just want to set this context to come to where Bitcoin lives. You know, first of all, you have to figure out what it is and what we are talking about. Then you can talk about where it might live. And because the money aspect, for example, I think Bitcoin has three big aspects when you can talk about how, like, where it lives. And I call this meat space and cyberspace and fin space. Fin space are basically markets. You know, the price of Bitcoin is very important. It also lives in markets, you know, like it is traded, it is actively traded, and it has a price. And the price is very important in the sense that, you know, if the price crashes massively, something happened that might not be good for Bitcoin. You know, like all of it is interconnected and important. In the meat space world, you know, like if the hash rate drops immensely, then, you know, China truly banned Bitcoin. I mean, that's what we saw, you know, like we actually had a state level attack on Bitcoin in the sense that the largest mining nation banned Bitcoin mining and all miners had to move, and Bitcoin didn't care, which was great. But still, that's the meat space aspect, is that there are some, just like with the internet, there's some infrastructure that you could actually attack, and the network has to react. For the internet, this is like the big the big undersea cables, for example, the central DNS server, stuff like that. And for Bitcoin, it's the miners and the infrastructure that we use for communication and stuff like that. And in terms of cyberspace, I think Bitcoin and the protocol itself is truly just in the space of ideas. It's an informational construct. So everything in Bitcoin is text, and that's what's being sent, and that's what's being sent back and forth. So like, even if a miner mines a block, it's just working with information. And once you find a valid block, you send around this information. When you broadcast a transaction, this is just plain text information. When you generate a wallet, you're just generating information that no one knows about. So even like Bitcoin, for example, could transcend the internet. We don't need the internet for Bitcoin to work. If a superior communication network would appear, you could definitely port Bitcoin, because it's a higher layer technology onto this thing. That's why, you can send transactions using TX10 on like radio waves, and you can send transactions using the Blockstream satellite and stuff like that. It doesn't need the internet to work. It needs a very good communication network, and the internet is a very good communication network. So basically, that's my long-winded answer to your question, where Bitcoin lives. I think it lives in those three realms simultaneously. It lives in meat space, it lives in cyberspace, and it lives in fin space. And because it's also money, it's like that's another added layer on top of it. You could also ask the question, where does money live? Like, where does the US dollar live? Because in the end, it's all in our hands, but that's not exactly true, because it's more, like, even though value is subjective, money is kind of this intersubjective thing. Everyone agrees. So it lives between nodes, so to speak. And I think the same is true for Bitcoin. Bitcoin truly lives between nodes. Like consensus lives between nodes, for example. Like, I mean, you decide what the consensus is on your node. You have the chain tip on your node, but this is useless if no one else agrees with you, because you would be out of consensus. So that's a long answer.
If I could redirect the answer a little bit and talk about a little bit the human effect Bitcoin has to everyday pleb or not. Like, what do you see in yourself that Bitcoin has not only positively changed you, but like around sacrifice, like, and how do you cope with it? Like, it's not easy to hodl, and as I said before, I'm experiencing a kind of feeling lately of like Cypher in the Matrix, like, because we haven't reached hyperbitcoinization, there are growing pains in that hodl, right? Like, you put yourself and your life in pause in some aspects, because you're saving for your kids or whatever down the line. And especially when you see everybody around you living lives of printing money and consuming, right? Like, do you see that in yourself? Like, and how do you cope with sacrifice?
That's a great question, actually. Yeah. I'm kind of blown away, because I think it's an important thing to talk about. I think I'm not the only Bitcoiner that sacrificed a lot for Bitcoin, in the sense that but I also feel like I had no choice. Like, this thing was so so all-consuming and so interesting. I just had to. For example, I had to quit my job. Like, I had to move, because I had to remove myself from the normie world, because I knew I wasn't able to commit to it fully when I'm still embedded in my normie social circles and all of it, because everyone is living the fiat life. And I don't mean this in the way of everyone is buying expensive cars and bullshit they don't need, because that's not necessarily true of everyone, but it's just in the sense. I mean, the Matrix metaphor you used is so fitting, because once you see what's kind of happening in the world, exactly, it's impossible to go back and not see it. And then you also want to talk about it, and you want to do something productive about it. I mean, I think that's I think that's the great thing about Bitcoin, that you actually can do something about it. Like otherwise, the only option you have is nihilism or absurdism. Like otherwise you can just, everything's fucked, the world's fucked, everything is everything is terrible. So I'm gonna drink myself to death, or just I don't know, like watch Rick and Morty on repeat and laugh myself to death, or I don't know what. Like there is a reason why a lot of our modern culture is very absurdist. It's like the world is completely going to shit, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like I think a lot of people have this feeling, and everything is meaningless. And the way I'm coping with it, I don't think I even have to cope with it. Like Bitcoin gives me so much hope and meaning that I don't have to cope with anything. Like I'm happy. I'm very happy about my sacrifice. I mean, eating ramen noodles for 2 years straight wasn't exactly easy, especially
No, yeah, but okay, maybe I used the wrong word, like not cope, like deal with it, because we all know, that like what I'm saying is like Bitcoin is such a powerful truth, right? That transforms not only you, but like transforms the way you see the world. So sometimes that becomes too much for some people, especially if they are in the space a little bit more years. So because you can see what your friends are doing, and you can see how no coiner family is doing around them, they don't fucking care. And that freedom of the bliss they have, right? At some aspects, like how do you deal with that? Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean that's where the saying comes from, right? Ignorance is bliss. It's, but I don't know if I have a good answer. I think what I think is more problematic is I see people struggling, and I see like it's impossible to help them, because if you like a Jehovah's Witness, go to them and knock on the door and go like, have you have I already told you about our Lord and Savior Satoshi? I mean, they won't listen to you. I mean, they won't listen to you anyway. Like I've tried so many times. That's why I wrote the letter, dear family, dear friends. You see people struggling economically and just in all aspects of life, and it would be so much easier for them if they would just, instead of I don't know, trying to gamble on stocks or whatever, just start stacking sats. Like that's
Gigi,
that's what you want to tell them.
The sad part is that that pattern of them like repeats itself all the time. Like they don't break easy.
It doesn't take, like it doesn't take. It's just like you sound like a crazy person, and you sound like a religious preacher. And that's, I mean, I completely understand. That's also why I think a lot of Bitcoiners kind of give up. Like it's you will be. I mean, that's why it's so wise what Matt is saying all the time. You have to chill lightly, and you have to be, your door has to be open once the people are ready. But when the people are not ready, then no matter what you say will convince them.
Beautiful.
I really liked your letter.
Yeah, I was just about to touch on
Yeah,
that as well.
I want to make sure that because it's not one of his more well-known pieces. I want to make sure that Gigi says where people can find it and maybe hit some of the highlights of the letter.
Yeah, all my stuff is on my site there, Gigi.com. I'm moving away from all the publishing.
Nice. You're muted.
I think he muted himself.
Yeah,
Or Greg
okay.
muted him.
Greg muted him, you asshole, Greg.
Oh, Gigi, sorry.
Great.
Gigi, you got muted. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was an accident.
It's probably some sweat dripping down on the keyboard, and something weird happened. I don't know.
Gotta get that spam hash.
This is the point where you say "fuck you, Greg."
Yeah, fuck you, Greg.
Fuck you, Greg.
Yeah, fuck this guy. This is actually not my handwriting. The guy who wrote the "fuck you, Greg" speech bubble here is Vijay Boyapati himself. So we just want to make sure. I just want to make sure you know that.
Nice.
Oh no.
There you go. So anyway, the letter, I think it's just easiest to Google "Dear Family, Dear Friends" Gigi, and you'll find it.
It's on Medium, isn't it? You put it on Medium as well.
Yeah, it's on Medium as well, and on my site and a couple other places.
Proof of work in one letter, mate. you know, all the depth of the articles that you link to as well. If you're sending that to any friends and family, and they're not convinced by it, then
Yeah, that's
I would not be friends and family. Yeah,
that
incredible
was
work.
my hope. Like I actually I was hesitant about publishing it, but I'm very happy I did because it was helpful for others as well. But I truly wrote it just for my friends and family, and I was just okay. This is the condensed knowledge of, you know, I don't know, like the last 5-6 years. So if you know me and if you kind of trust me, like please listen to this and just read it once, read it twice, really internalize it, and you'll be fine. You know, like if you do everything that's in this letter, then you'll be fine. And I also try to, that's why there I try to keep it timeless, kind of, you know. That's why I made no direct suggestions in like, you know, this is the wallet you should use and here's where you should buy, but just keep it super general. It's like, you know, just start stacking sats, set it up, auto DCA, forget about it, you know, make sure you hold your own keys, make sure you understand what you're doing, and auto DCA, and everything else will happen on its own.
Do you ever think that we are actually crazy, not just that we sound crazy?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Like I'm dancing on the edges, you know, all the time. And I was afraid once or twice that I won't come back. So I'm also a bit worried because I kind of, I mean, it's obvious that Bitcoin derangement syndrome is very real, and I think you can also, like, it's not only no coiners and Peter Schiff and, you know, all the rest of it that have Bitcoin derangement syndrome. It can definitely happen to Bitcoiners. Once you're into deep, you can go very weird places, and we've seen this in the past. You know, Daniel Kravitz comes to mind, for example. He co-founded the Nakamoto Institute with Pierre and Michael, and he went completely off the rails. Like Coineasy is one of those people too, and to some extent Roger Ver, at least he had his faces, you know, like it's but for the first two I mentioned, that there was a point where you couldn't even decipher their writings or their tweets, or like it's I sometimes say it's like, you know, mathematicians that study infinity for like 10 years, some of them just don't make it, you know, like they end up in an asylum somewhere or blowing their brains out, and I think this can happen here too.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
you get like that on episode of this podcast.
Again, sorry, I didn't catch that.
You can get like that just from one episode of this podcast.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
all right, so the audience has a question for Gigi, and it's based on one of our previous guests' questions. It's a fuck, marry, kill. You've got Udi, Breedlove, and Odell.
Oh shit, that's easy, man.
Does that include Smash Odell?
Yeah.
It's actually not that easy. No, I'm gonna.
It'd be easier
I'm gonna,
if you were wearing the span hatch.
I'm
suit.
gonna marry Smash Odell, like that's for sure.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
sorry Udi, but I'll have to kill Udi, and I'm gonna fuck Breedlove.
Nice.
There is the clip.
There it is. Love it.
Nice. I think I can see how you. I get it. I get it.
All right, RD, we're coming to the end here, man, and we don't have a whole lot of time left. Do you have a short question, or do you have a question that needs some time?
He's got two.
I know he's got two.
That's fine, you know. Like I'm not strapped for time. I'm up already, so.
Let's help out RD first of all. RD, it's okay. It's safe here.
Yeah, this is
RD.
definitely a safe
Yeah,
space.
we are your friends. We are your friends, RD. Come on.
Yeah,
We're not
this
actually recording anything.
This is
RD.
not recorded. No.
RD, can you find the unmute button?
Just imagine that we are all naked.
He
Can
pressed
you
it.
Can you find the unmute button in the map?
This is not helping.
RD's
He
laying
spoke.
in bed right now.
For reference, whoever is hearing, and for Gigi, it's a couple of weeks now that me and Craig are basically making fun of RD and calling him Dora the Explorer, because he did a tweet a couple of weeks ago that basically said, "Do you love Bitcoin? Yes. No. Fuck you, Craig." And it got 21 likes.
I'm just up for that.
Yeah. So
Wow, Yellow is an asshole.
Yeah, yellow is. It's totally
I'm
yellow.
low key. I am. Yeah.
Yellow's constantly trolling me. I'm used to it now. Gigi, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you, man, because when I was like really new to Bitcoin and I was a confused guy trying to work out what these shit coins were and what Bitcoin was, and I hadn't gone down the rabbit hole at all, like you picked me out and pointed me in the right direction, sent me your audio, sent me to your website where your audio book was for free. And yeah, it was awesome, man. So I've got a lot of time and respect for you for helping me out in the beginning. So I just personally wanted to say thank you. Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad it was helpful.
Yeah, very helpful, man. Yeah, I've got like a fun question. So if the meme factory did exist, which obviously it doesn't, which one of us would you like, which one of us would you retweet, and which one of us would you mute?
Oh man. All right. I will have to like Labra because I really like dogs. I'm a dog person. And shout out to Mungo the ape child, by the way. He disappeared off Twitter like, I don't know, 1.5 years ago maybe, or it feels like it at least. Maybe it was only a year ago. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but shout out to this guy.
Who was that? Sorry, Gigi?
He was the biggest dog person on Twitter. He was Mungo the ape child. And
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, I remember Mongo. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'll have to retweet Yellow just because of the awesome videos. I mean, like I told you, I think a couple of days ago, that you're a genius. Just I don't know how you do it and where you find all the videos, but it's amazing. I assume you don't shoot everything yourself. It's really good. Yeah, and I have to mute Greg because fuck you, Greg. That's just
He muted you.
I'm not even sorry.
Yeah, right. I already muted him once tonight.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Sean,
Was that both questions or was that just one question, RD?
I can answer it again if you want.
Yeah, that's not the answers I was looking for. So do you think you could no, I'm joking. No, well, I was going to say,
He's
like,
joking.
21 lessons. Would there be a 20-second lesson?
A 20-second lesson? Oh man, I can't even do it in probably 2 seconds. Just by Bitcoin, it's not that complicated.
nice.
How do they stop printing money?
Oh my god.
As long as they're still printing money just by Bitcoin. As long I think even speaking of hyperbitcoinization, there will be there will be a point in time where, like, if everything we think is true, there will come a point in time where you're not able to exchange fiat money for Bitcoin. So everything, like, if you're still able to exchange cuckbucks for sats, you're still early. So just buy it now. You will have to earn it in the future.
So I guess I don't know, Craig. And Gigi, you wanna touch the latest development, like trolling that's going on Twitter with free knowledge and free information being paid or something. Like, we can touch that? And
Yeah.
also,
I think we already moved on to the kebab symbol. No.
Yeah, but it is like a repeating pattern that I see around one word, hustling. Like, I'm judging it, of course, as an outsider. I'm not in the States, but as I said before, in the States they have like a very big, I guess, idea around the hustle. So
Yeah.
that hustle, that word, means actually that someone is getting played, like
yeah.
So it doesn't like completely align.
That's the original meaning of the word.
Yeah,
to
it
be a
doesn't
hustler.
completely
If you're a hustler, you're fooling someone else.
It doesn't completely align with the Bitcoin ethics. That's why there's so many problems from time to time from people that still hustle.
if you have 1 million followers and you get ratioed to hell by a shit poster like me with like 30K or so, then you have to rethink your marketing strategy. Like that's that's not a good look. But regarding the hustle, I mean, I don't think there is anything wrong with getting up every day at 5 a.m. and working like 14-hour days. If you want to do that, be my guest. It's not my kind of existence, but there are many people that do, and many people that are successful because of that. But I think there's also nothing wrong with charging for courses. I think what rubbed everyone the wrong way was kind of two things. It was, why do we need a special treatment for the ladies? Like why reduce your kind of potential audience by 50%, or even like if you look at the Bitcoin demographics, why box yourself in that much? And I've read through many comments, and a lot of women were kind of pointing that out. It's like the pink razor blades all over again. Like you're buying a shitty razor and it's pink and it costs twice as much, and that's basically that course summed up. Maybe like we don't know. I think no one like it doesn't exist yet, so we don't know how good it will be. Maybe it's gonna be the best Bitcoin course that ever existed. But like Seyfedin is giving courses and he's charging for them, but caveat, like he's giving away the everything for free on his podcast. Like these are his seminars, like his discussion seminars, when you can be part of the discussion, part of the group. But like after, I don't know, a couple of weeks or so, or maybe a week or two, it's going to be released for free on the podcast. Sail Academy is free as well. And
he's giving away Bitcoin Standard, I think, as well. You could access that kind of open source.
And also it's the Bitcoin Standard is available for free basically as well. Just DM Seyfedin. It's like I mean, there are ways to get it for free very easily. My point is that you have access to the best Bitcoin educational material that exists in the world right now for free. So why create something new that is probably not better, because it's a bit hard to do that. And I mean, Pomp is not a noob, but he's probably also not the best teacher in the world, and so it's a bit weird to do this kind of paywalled course and charge almost $1,000 for it and only focus on women, in the sense that what do you want to say? Do women need extra hand holding in terms of otherwise they won't understand it, or do you just want to charge extra for the pink color? Or I don't know what's going on. I think that's what's rubbed people the wrong way. And in the end, I have nothing against it. Like truly, they should do what they want. More power to them. If they're successful, like again, more power to them. But it's the free market all over again. If you're doing something like that and you get a lot of pushback, don't be outraged about the pushback. It's not the market that's wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, kind of.
The age-old meme of looking in the mirror. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
You're that wrong. It's the market that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I think like the one thing that kind of made sense. I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for women. But whatever.
You're not?
I was turned into a woman earlier today.
Greg was by
kind of sexy.
And I would think was just like there was like a little networking thing, but you can get on Bitcoin Twitter and network instantly.
Exactly. I was just about to say you don't necessarily need this, and I would argue it's like if you're a woman in the first place, just on Bitcoin Twitter, you'll have a large network. You'll have your own little army. You'll have your own little simp army.
Once it's confirmed that you actually are a woman, you will.
Yeah.
Just felt like a money grab wrapped in virtue signaling. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you don't see that I'm just
it's-
trying to make this extra product that doesn't need to exist because it's for women.
But you know, like I think again, like I think that's fine. I think you just have to expect this blowback. You know, it's the fucking palm pizza thing all over again. You know, like it's what the hell are you doing? Selling pizzas for credit cards? You know, I mean, it's not even, you can't even pay with Bitcoin. And again, for this course, you know, it's not a Bitcoin thing. It's like I am pumped, I'm amazing, I sell pizza now, and I make this course. Give me all your money.
He
And
did donate
more
a
power
bunch
to
of
him.
that money to Bitcoin.
No,
Dubs,
that's
though,
fine.
didn't
Yeah, I know. He donated to the HRF fund, and like I'm not saying there's
That's what it
anything
was.
wrong with the hustle and doing all the, like it's I don't really care, you know, and neither should most people, and neither will Bitcoin. And I think, you know, there's kind of 1,000 ways to skin this cat, and this is probably also one. And you know, again, let's see if people will talk about the course, you know, in like 8 months from now.
Cool.
Is it good for Bitcoin? Everything's good for Bitcoin.
Everything's good for Bitcoin.
Banana bread.
It's delicious for Bitcoin.
I was worried that you're presenting a kebab thingy now on screen, and we have to go through the Nazi symbology as well of the sat symbol.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh, you just changed how I've been looking at that.
Oh man. If you want to read the most stupid Twitter thread of the last 24 hours, just look at my timeline when I'm arguing with John Carvalho about the SS symbol that he wants to use for Satoshi. And I was just pointing out, you know, like in where I'm from, like this is not the proper symbol to use. It's like, you know, let's just use the swastika, you know, like it's who cares, like it's long ago.
Another thing that came out of Germany.
Everyone knows the symbol. It looks nice. It kind of, you know, looks like an S. I don't know. Oh man, it's
I'll go unmute John for a little while then.
You know, usually we have kind of these nonsense arguments when the price goes sideways, not when Bitcoin is pumping. So I don't know what's going on.
Gone sideways for the last 24 hours, so now we gotta
fight.
We gotta start fighting, huh?
We gotta start fighting again.
Yep.
Fuck you guys.
No, fuck you, Jello.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm walking on here. I think
Gigi.
go.
Okay, I have another question. So everyone knows you for your articles, right? You know, and I think there's less people that know you that know that you've worked at some pretty cool companies too, like Swan. And currently, I think you're working at CT. I don't know if that's changed at all. Which CT kind of came out of nowhere, like this Norwegian company just coming into the Bitcoin game and being like a pleb, you know, kind of like the sailor of Norway. It's pretty cool. Just you know, from our standpoint, you know, we don't really get, as plebs, we don't really get to see like the inner workings of these big companies, and we don't get to hear about, you know, some new things that are going on. Or I don't know if you have any insight to something new, if there's something, you know, exciting that you're seeing that maybe we wouldn't be so privy to, that we wouldn't have knowledge of, that's going on right now that gets you pretty excited, just, you know, from working at a place like CT, or even working, you know, with the good people at Swan.
I don't think I have any true inside knowledge. What I can tell you I'm still at CT, so nothing has changed. Just for the record, so CT is like you could think of it like a small spin-off of a really large company, and the really large company is like truly really large. It's the biggest employer in Norway, and I think the company employs like 40,000 people or something like that, you know, like it's large. And so what I can tell you about these large companies is like, yeah, they have a lot of money, so they can do a lot of crazy and cool shit, but it's also since the ship is so large, it takes a while to turn. And I think that's you even see this for MicroStrategy, which is in a very interesting position, because Saylor basically, he truly is the captain of the ship. Like he can steer it in a different direction. Like other companies are set up in a different way, where this is way harder. Like you have large boards, and the shares are owned by people all over the place, and there's just no way of convincing everyone of anything or of any large change. But even Saylor, he had to convince the board, and like he was handing out copies of the Bitcoin Standard and forced everyone to read the bullish case for Bitcoin and the gradually then suddenly series and so on and so forth. So it was a multi-month process to convince people that this is the right move to move the company to a Bitcoin Standard. And for I think that's true for all large companies, that they just move slower than some startups, for example, could. But for CT, that's why it's a spin-off. Like that's why we want to do things that small companies can do. And I would urge everyone who doesn't know what CT is or what it does to read the shareholder letter that was published a couple of months ago. And that's what we're working on. So we want to basically work on Bitcoin and do what is good for Bitcoin. And this is a little bit of investment here and there, a little bit of development here and there. So I'm currently building up a developer team, and we want to work on open source development exclusively. And we're currently, for example, like the last couple of weeks, we helped to implement something in the podcasting 2.0 specification. So most people know that you can stream sats now, and there are some apps that podcast players that have Lightning payments enabled and Lightning wallets that have podcasts enabled, and you can listen to a podcast and stream sats every minute, and also can boost, which is a bit like clapping, but you're clapping with the sats and so on. And we want to have more fine-grained splits of these payment streams, because we're only able to split the payment on an episode on a podcast level, so for the whole podcast. But we wanted to have something where you can split up the payments for each individual episode differently. So if you have a guest, that you can 50-50 with the guest, or if you're talking only about the Human Rights Foundation, for example, that everything will be donated to the Human Rights Foundation and stuff like that. So it's different for every episode. And so we worked on that and are currently now implementing it in Breeze. So that's what these are the kind of things we want to do. Just, build the missing puzzle pieces in Bitcoin. And that's what I do when I'm not shit posting on Twitter, basically.
Well, here at the Meme Factory, we're selfish with our sats. So no, they don't go to any good causes. They just go right to Pedro's wallet.
Which is a good cause, like as the friar himself would say, Bitcoin is the largest charity the world has ever seen. So if you want to do something good, just buy yourself some Bitcoin.
I'm almost certain that the first pods I listened to on Breeze were the CT podcast.
No, you mean in general, or?
No, the first sats that I streamed sats to Breeze.
That you streamed. Nice.
JV. Yeah. I'm
awesome.
pretty sure it was the CT podcast.
Awesome.
I think you did a cracking job with that, actually. That was a great idea that you made there, getting John on board with that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm super happy that he's willing to help us out there, because I for example would be a terrible host, and he's just excellent, and he's asking the right questions. He knows the space inside out, and he truly is able to really speak to people, and it doesn't matter who he speaks to. Like everyone, like you cannot escape his charm and his smile. Like everyone will open up and really talk to him.
I'd happily listen to a John Vallis podcast interviewing John Vallis. He's a great man.
That would be great.
Get some AI for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the sets, I guess. Like you did something good as well, because I'm keeping mine.
Yeah, I haven't realized it, and I was listening to Matt and Marty talk about this as well. It's got a long way to go until it matches up to, for example, what they're earning per episode. They said what
yeah, of course.
But it's a start, man. And out of small acorns grow mighty oaks, and all these things need to start like this. So
yeah. And I'm so bullish on this, like you guys have no idea, because it already works. I'm already receiving sats like probably almost every minute, you know, like it's insane. And yeah, it's really insane. I mean, it's like 1 or 2 or 3 sets, you know, but it's still. Like, and it's you don't need to be a genius to know that this will definitely 100x, because just the purchasing power of a set will 10x for sure. And just the people that are using it, like the amount of people that will use this, because it will be integrated in all the podcast apps, like that's for sure, you know. And this is another 10x easily. It's more like 100x in itself, you know. So just if and it's also super easy to set up, you know, like if you have a podcast, if someone is listening out there and you have a podcast, it's very easy to set up, and it is bound to get even easier, you know. And so you don't need to do anything special. You basically, if you have a node, or if you like if you have a node, if you can receive spontaneous Lightning payments, so you need basically a node public key is what you need. You just paste it in the RSS feed, and that's it. And everyone, you know, for all time, into all eternity, will be able to stream money to you. It's such a wild concept, you know. Like you will publish a podcast, and 10 years later, if someone stumbles upon it, will you know, there's still the possibility that you're receiving sats. And I think this is definitely the way to go. And huge shout out to Adam Curry, who championed the value for value model, which is basically like it inverses the paywall model, you know. Like it's, the content is already here. If you found it useful, if you liked it, you know, just pay what it was worth to you, basically. And this is the whole philosophy behind the streaming payments for the podcast as well. Like if you want to support the creator, if you really like this, you know, just press the boost button, leave a boostergram, stream some sets. And I think it really works for information, because selling information does not work. Paywalls do not work, you know. Like if the content is really good, one person will pay the paywall and release it for free. I mean,
it's just another one of those wonderful pieces of software that have come out in the last few years that really align with the Bitcoin ethos, and it's sort of, you know, in its infancy right now. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, and it already works, you know. Like that's what people, I feel like, don't know, you know. Most Bitcoiners kind of don't know that this truly already works, and people are using it. And people that have no idea about Bitcoin are using it, you know. There are people that they have no idea about Bitcoin. They don't even have any idea that a Satoshi is, like, you know, the hardest money ever known to man. And they're just, you know, it's like, again, it's the same story all over again, you know. It's the funny internet money, it's the funny internet point. Oh yeah, it's sats. Oh man, nice, it's sats, and they have some value and I can receive them. And they set themselves up to receive sats, and they're promoting podcast players that have that enabled and then can stream value, and people are using it because people actually want to support cool other people, you know, other creators, other people that they like and content that they like people actually want to support that. That's, you know, I don't think that's an outlandish claim. That's what the data shows. So I'm super bullish on that. And I myself want to move everything I do to the value for value model. So I just want to release everything for free, open source, permissive licenses, so that everyone can do with my content what they want. And I just want to base everything on the value for value model.
Once again, sorry, Adam, back beats ain't happening. We love you though.
That's the standard. It's already got Lindy.
Yeah, we're now discussing what would be the right symbol, and so we moved one step further, you know. We're not discussing if it should be sats or bits or I don't know what kind of stupid unit. It's sats, and now we are just fighting about, should it be, you know, this at symbol that looks like $1, or should it be the dollar, or should it be a swastika? Like, no one knows. We'll see what works out in the end.
It's gonna be some good memes tomorrow.
First of all, I want to do a shout out to everybody in the chat that is listening. I'm seeing Paige, we had Becca, and of course we have Bobby and Anders, and they're still fighting in the chat.
The toxic duo.
They're fighting in the chat, like those guys are, Anders I think said, like, those are 8 hosts and they don't interrupt each other. We have to learn something.
There's also that meme of the girl sitting on the sofa and all the dudes around her too that has to come out of these.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Every episode.
Gotta get at least one porn.
I think anybody else has a question?
I
Oh,
think
I have one more question.
Go.
It's a question that I asked John Vallis, and I gotta ask you the same question. Dude, you got so much knowledge. What do you talk to when you go on a first date with someone? What do you talk about?
I don't go on first dates anymore.
Oh, in a relationship now or what?
It's getting kind of serious. You could
Hey,
say.
all right.
No, I have a wife and a kid, so first dates are in the past. But I actually had one of my last first dates, which was actually a blind date, was with Matt Odell in 2017. So and we talked about Bitcoin, you know.
That's it, man. You're
But
cheating.
yeah, no, I think my answer would be like because I still talk to normies, you know, believe it or not. And it's I think everyone has something interesting to say, kind of, you know. I mostly try to get the perspective of the other person, and there is a million different ways to talk about Bitcoin without talking about Bitcoin, you know, without mentioning the B word. You can always, you know, just
Banana bread.
Yeah, banana bread, you know, the price of banana bread kind of went up this year, you know, like it's $2 bought you a loaf of banana bread like 5 years ago. What's happening now it's $50, you know. So there are always kind of these things you could sneak in, but you know, like the world is a big place, and life is interesting in more ways than one, so there's a lot of things to talk about. And I think, again, I truly believe that everyone kind of, you know, just get everyone super high on something and they will have something interesting to say. So it's just about getting people to open up and finding what they are what's the word? Enthusiastic about.
Are you telling us that you're drugging people to get them to talk about Bitcoin with you?
Yeah, that's my first dates, you know.
That's
like,
what I'm hearing.
Roof is in the drinks. And,
Just crush up the roofie, throw it in the
you know, I watched a lot of Bill Cosby shows as a kid.
Okay.
Feeds him a roofie and downloads Blue Waddle.
They wake up with a
for
million
60
sats.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though you're married at 100K, we're all getting girlfriends, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's right.
And now that you mention it, Sean, I don't know when we're gonna have you again, Gigi, but we definitely, I think, want you to have in that epic stream that we're planning for the next halving, and we're gonna have the most epic of the pleb stream ever. So you're invited.
Awesome.
It's gonna be a lot of hours. I think it's gonna be a marathon. People will be leaving. People will be joining. It's gonna be a mess, but I think, yeah.
Very good.
The 2024 halving is gonna be with the Meme Factory. We're gonna have everyone.
Awesome. That sounds great. Yeah, I'd be up for a marathon, you know, like 24-hour stream. It's been a while since I did something like that.
I think you're gonna need, if you're gonna do that 24 hours on spandex, you're gonna need our product.
The span hatch.
Yeah.
It's the patented
Definitely.
ass hatch technology.
Yeah. The dick door version will be available by then as well.
Yeah. Be able to get the dick door then.
And Red Bulls and some banana bread.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Gigi, do you have any closing comments? Anything you want to make sure our audience knows or understands about you or what you're talking about these days? Anything you want to shill?
I'm fine with people not understanding me. They will understand in time. So it's like,
I just wanted to echo what RD said, man. You know, when I started my little Sats Ledger project, I reached out to you and you were so supportive, mate. Even though you were just as big a legend then as you were now. This was a couple of years back. And this is the great thing. And one of the things that frustrates me about the criticism Maxis get, Bitcoiners are the friendliest fucking people and the most helpful people. And if you approach, guys like you, and this has happened repeatedly, with diffidence and modesty and openness and earnestness, then you just get given stuff in spades. And you gave that to me, man, and gave me loads of support and followed me and RT'd me when I was getting that shit going. So thank you, mate. I really, really appreciate you. You're an absolute credit to the space. So cheers, dude.
You're very welcome, and I'm just paying it forward. The same thing happened to me. I can only echo that with everything you just said. It's just the names are different. For me it was Pierre and Wittstein, and especially Matt. Again, to come back to the blind date. I was a complete nobody. I just was kind of working on the second half of 21 lessons, and I had a couple hundred followers, and I was reaching out to him a couple of weeks or even months before that. I'll be in New York, and if he would be willing to meet, whatever. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's have a beer, let's meet somewhere. And he went through a lot of trouble to just meet with me. We were two nyms, and he was an absolute legend, and we've been friends ever since. And everyone I ever reached out to on Twitter, and it doesn't matter what channel, everyone was always super supportive to me as well. And so I just want to pay this forward. And I think also, if you're interested in Bitcoin, want to help Bitcoin, want to learn about Bitcoin, everyone will be super supportive, because we're all on the same team. If you want to help Bitcoin along, then that's great. Just do it.
Bitcoin is love.
Bitcoin is love.
Gigi is love.
Gigi's love. Yeah.
Not always, but in real life more than on Twitter.
When are you next speaking with Jordan?
Oh, he didn't bite. He didn't bite a couple of days ago, unfortunately. But I hope to do that. But I think I'm sure it's gonna happen, and I'm also I'm super happy if it's going to be me, but I'm also happy if it's going to be someone else. And I think he's still circling around Bitcoin, and he's still he's definitely reading his Austrian economics. He's read Human Action and stuff like that, and he's a big reader. But still, if you're able to read human action in I don't know, a couple of months, that says something. That says that you're quite interested in what Mises and everyone else had to say. And so since Bitcoin is not only love, but Bitcoin is also truth, and Jordan is his whole the last 40 years or so, his life's work is the pursuit of truth. So there's no way he will dismiss Bitcoin. There is no way he will discover it for himself. And I think the first conversation we had with him, a lot of kind of light bulbs went off in his head, because he was able to understand some things that we said through his own psychological lens, and he connected the dots for himself. So I expect Jordan to fall deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, in the next couple of months or years, or however long it takes. But I don't know if I will be involved or not. I would be happy to, because I think I would have some interesting takes in terms of also memes and religion and all that jazz. But we'll see what happens.
Well, he liked your dress sense, and he hadn't even seen the span hatch. But he remembered you on Twitter, right? He was calling you out.
Yeah. He did because I was joking around. It was actually because of a meme, because I was I was helping him out with a joke, because I have in my memes folder there is a subfolder which is called JVP, and there are all my Jordan Peterson memes in there. And I just posted one of these because I just thought it was super funny, and he thought so too, and so he retweeted it and was asking how the financial revolution is going. Yeah.
I think a good idea would be to have him enable tips on Twitter, and we all stream some love or something.
That would be fantastic.
I think the best idea would be for him to join this particular podcast and talk to you guys.
Now we're talking.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Too much noise. Not enough signal on this podcast.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Thanks, Gigi.
everybody.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
Love you.
I'll
Cheers,
feed it.
Gigi.
Love you too, guys. Keep memeing.
Cool, man.
Right.